Hey, hey, hey. Hey, T-Sippers. Hey, T-Sippers. What it do? What it do? Is that me? Hey, T-Sippers. Happy, happy day. Still celebrating my birthday. That is actually in a couple of days. I just been doing that early celebration. Hey, Peach Gems. How you doing? Ooh-wee, man. Why don't they just impeach this man? Get his ass on out. He ain't gonna act right. He gonna keep trying to play in people's face. Cause he think he's smarter than everybody else. Or maybe he don't realize that they ain't protecting him no more. Hey, Mrs. Tom. How you doing? How you doing? Can y'all please come in, hitting the like button? I would greatly appreciate it. Y'all have not been showing the love. This way or that way. Hey, Sheba. How you doing? Oh, happy day. Doing good. I hope they do something with it. I hope so, too. They say they tired of the human trafficking, because it's bad. I knew it was bad. I can't even say I didn't know how bad it was, because for 4 or 5 years, I've been saying that what's going on had a lot to do where I felt like human trafficking was involved. Hey, Kane Life, how you doing? Good to see you. Good to see all my T-Sippers. Good to see everybody. Oh, I like that yellow by your name. That's new. I hadn't seen that yellow. You've been with me for a minute. Shout out to the membership. Shout out to Kane Life with his membership. He got a whole gold star. Woo-hoo. Gold star. Woo-hoo. Y'all knew I was gonna do something crazy. I can't help it. Even when I don't feel like it, something crazy gonna come out my mouth. It's just what that is. But I do appreciate seeing it. I have not seen that color. So awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So yeah, you can't be on the, and this is fascinating to me to see these predators who have been campaigning. Even Ghislaine Maxwell was a part of some party. Hey, Purple Flower, that was about human trafficking. These people bold. Oh, they bold. How could you have been a part of it? So it's like you're trying to tap in to all angles of it, to try to get in control, try to be a part of it, to see, how they have advanced, the intelligence, baby. And I know I fell asleep last night. Well, it was early this morning. Ain't that a gospel song? Early one morning, just about the break of day. It is Sunday. Oh man, I had planned to play some motivation this morning. I'm just all out. Woo, there go Max. Woo, there go Max to the boogie. Max to the boogie. Max to the boogie. Thank you. You sent, it said 100. It didn't tell me what it was, but thank you. Go, Max. Thank you, Precious. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, but I fell asleep. I was up late. So I said, well, let's just play this, you know, because I just feel like in a minute, we going to have to get to know Maxine a little better. And baby, for the ones who was up late or early this morning with me and who I'm just so tired. Today's your door. Oh, I'm having her a barbecue. Oh, tells your door. Almost my birthday twin. I said, happy birthday, sweet precious. Can you let her see AunTeaFee so I can sing her, goes your door, it's your birthday, it's your birthday. It's somebody's birthday, it's somebody's birthday. It's your door's birthday, it's your door's birthday. Goes your door, it's your birthday. Whew. Till I said happy birthday. Today is your mama's birthday. Okay, happy birthday, mama. Happy birthday, mama. Happy birthday, mama. Happy birthday, mama. Whoo, Lord. All cancers do is cry. Shut up. I don't cry. And see, when I'm acting, when Laquita come out, you be coming in here saying, Fee, Auntie, this is a paper, this is, baby, because Laquita is not the Cancer. She is straight up the Leo. Oh, she welcome. You gotta take care of them Cancers, boo-boo. Cancers. See, this is why I'm passionate about these victims. Don't come over here with that. Don't come over here campaigning or promoting for no PDFers, PD files. Ooh, and I want to say something I saw the other night, but I'm going to let it be because it's somebody's mama. Ooh, that be online, and I just cannot stand to see a whole mama. Oh, mama. Get on here and try to have something negative to say about somebody that she birthed. How dare you? Have she? So you know who I'm talking about. Because I hadn't seen her in a while, and I just saw her the other night, and I said, what is wrong with this? I found myself calling her a itch, and I said, oh, that's somebody's mama, girl. Get on off. Get on off. This is so insulting. And I remember when she was on Mysterious panel one time. You know who I'm talking about, Max? And they ate her ass up. Oh, No, I'm talking about somebody's mom. No. Not her. I saw her on Biggest 214 platform. And they was all calling her mama. What's her name? I'm trying not to say her name because she's somebody's mama, but Mama Tammy. I'm trying to be respectful because she's somebody's mama. But baby, I wanted to come out the clouds and say, you know what? It's mamas like you. Yeah. who have that spirit that'll pimp their own fucking kids out. Cause you desperate than a motherfucker. Ooh, Lord, yeah. Cause somebody in your family done pimped you out before. So you think it's okay for all females to be pimped. Her spirit ain't right. And I don't like her. I don't like her spirit. And she wants to be everybody who ratchet mama. And you got your own kids that you ain't done shit with. Right. But anyway, I'm going to leave that alone. I'm going to leave that alone. I cannot stand that. I cannot stand that. As if, you know, like you helping. Like you even care to help. But baby, that time she was on Mysterious, baby, when I tell you she served her, I was cheering. I was saying, "Go, Mysterious, eat that ass up, eat that ass up." And I think, what's the other lady that I hadn't seen in a minute? Nurse P. She was crying. She ate her up too. I think World's Girl, is that supposed to be God's girl? I think she said something too, but hey Tracy. But anyway, let me get on off there. But even with dealing with this type of stuff, and these people don't act like they don't have no sympathy for people that have been trafficked.
Fancy horse.
Blows my mind.
Fancy gun.
And that's why at least 80% of our culture is still up under the rug with childhood dramas and traumas. Cause they mama, big mama, somebody like that told them not to say nothing and then, you know, keep it in the house. And then they betray the kid to protect the predator. So when I hear this type of stuff, y'all, I'm hearing people protecting the predator when folk who have been compromised have to keep the secret after they done went to the person who was supposed to protect them, and that person betrayed them. So that's how these people are feeling right now who have been violated. Get mad at the kids. Peach, you better preach. You better preach. That part. That part. But what you gonna do to the predator? What are you gonna do to the predator? Nothing. In about a month or so, hey, they're gonna peep around the damn corner to see if the coast is clear. And hell, you gonna offer them a plate of food. Stupid shit like that. Cause he said he gonna pay a light bill or something. Some stupid shit like that. So that's why I don't play with predators. That's why I ain't play with Diddy. None of them. I don't give a shit who you are. I don't care who name on the list. I don't care. I do not care. It could be somebody I'm very fond of. And I am not gonna care. Not at all. You didn't do nothing. You didn't stop it. Then you was a part of the problem. You saw something strange. You thought them kids was out of line for being there. What they there for? You didn't say, baby, are you okay? Where your mama? Who you here with? How you get here? You don't know? Shut the shit down. Because AunTeaFee gonna clown and until they gonna put me out. And as I'm being put out, I'm dialing 911. You don't shut it down. I totally understood that guy that was undercover, looking at those kids in their eyes, hearing them scream and holler, you know, not wanting to go out there and be put on display for somebody to take advantage of them. That's what's wrong with us. We don't have enough love for others, you know. You have to say, well, what that's gonna do for me? What I get out the deal? You know, you always got to get something out the damn deal. Let them keep doing the kids and injustice. There are a lot of kids violating kids. Absolutely. Hurt people. And then they start thinking, well, hell, it was done to me. And emotionally and mentally, they don't know how to deal with that because they, adult, told them to shut up and get over there and sit down. What did you have on? What did you do? Start finding something wrong with you. What? What? Listen, I'm not saying my mama's perfect. I will say she was a hell of a provider. I will say that. I'm not saying she's perfect. But I will say, and I ain't saying she got all her marbles, baby, because if you don't think I have all mine sometimes, then you dang sure ain't gonna understand hers. But I'm gonna give you a few of the marbles. I don't know how old, I can't remember how old I was when the ice cream man invited me to go ride with him on the ice cream truck. And I was young enough to know, or not to know no different. So I must have been like 5 or 6, I guess. I don't remember. But I know he said to me the next time he come through, you pretty little girl, you could ride, you want to ride on the ice cream truck? And you know, you don't know no better. I remember saying, okay, I'll ask my mama. And baby, I don't know when I heard that ding 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 ding, and I got excited. This is innocent. And I remember saying to my mama, Mama, there go the ice cream man. He said I can ride with him. Can I ride with the ice cream man? And my mama said, what? He said, what? He said I could ride with him on the ice cream truck with him. Can I ride? Can I go? Baby, my mama walked me out that front door, went across the street, and she asked that ice cream man, and I'm saying, hey, you know, don't know no better. And my mama said, did you tell my child that she could ride with you on this ice cream truck? And baby, I guess my mama, I'm still down here excited, waiting for her to say yeah. You know, baby, my mama threatened him so. She thought she was, she went, baby. She threatened him so. She said, if I eat, first she said, if you come up the street ever again, I'ma ill you. My mama little old saying used to be, she'll blow your head off. Baby! She said, if I hear your sirens, if you come close enough that I hear your sirens, I'ma ill you. If you happen to see her, you better turn and go the other way. And she meant every word she said, baby, because ice cream man never came on our street again. And I kind of remember saying, Mama, what happened? You know, not knowing. Not knowing the danger of the man inviting me as a kid to ride with him on his ice cream truck. So I think even as an adult, I'm not big on ice cream trucks. Once I understood what really was happening. He ain't use a puppy. He ain't use, he ain't use none of that. He used the ice cream truck to lure kids. So we gotta be careful, You gotta be careful. And I'm glad that I didn't have to experience with a mother saying what you have on and what did you do and all that crazy shit. That's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. Because as far as I'm concerned, if you raised your kid right, then you should already know who your kid is. And if you trying to say on the cool that that's who the kid is, then that means you didn't raise them right. You the parent. You the parent. So that's all I'm gonna say on that. So shout out to the mamas and the daddies who are actively involved and concerned in their kids' life. Shout out to the parents who won't get on here talking negative about their kids, whether you get along with them or not. Shout out to them. Because I am in the realization at this time in my life that family ain't what it used to be. So I ain't shocked to see her do it. Just disappointed. Just disappointed that we the people can't own some mistakes that have been made in order to help heal some damaged kids. Because I don't care how old they are. They still the age, emotionally and mentally, that they were at the time they were violated. So, shame on Trump for knowing. I mean, I know your name was on the list. I know that you was involved in it. I know you was. But let me just say it like this. Shame on you for knowing what you knew and did nothing about it. Shame on you for letting it go on for so long. Shame on you for inviting people to join y'all in the child trafficking, allegedly. Shame on you. And you deserve everything that I hope is coming. You deserve it. And your cabinet, your friends, they know it. See, this to me, y'all, I'm going to get to it, but this to me is what Suge Knight was trying to get Diddy to go ahead and put out there. When he said it's going to continue and you have an opportunity to put it out there to save the culture. See, that's what Suge Knight was trying to say to Diddy when he said get on the stand and testify and tell the truth because it didn't start with you. That's what he was saying. Now, that may have went over some people's head, but it didn't go over mine. Because at some point, he know that it's going to all come out. It's on its way of coming out. And all their names is going to be on there. Not Epstein, so to say. But what's been going on when people come to them wanting the opportunity and they have to do a little bit of this and a little bit of that, or a lot of this and a lot of that in order to get on. The manipulation, the sacrificing, and the initiation into the industry. Yeah, because I think that, like I was saying late last night, that's what made me come on as I was thinking, oh, I had a good old bubble bath soak. I need to show y'all this soap. Oh, my skin was so soft and it just smelled so good. I said to myself, Calgon, take me away. I ain't want to get out the bathtub. And the longer I was in that hot water, I would think that my skin was gone. Baby, my skin was so silky. But anyway. Hey, Nico Worldwide. Nico Worldwide. Where have I heard the name from? Hi. How you doing? So, why I was up at 2 in the morning, because as I was sitting in that bathtub, I was listening to a recording of somebody going over the list of the people who was on the log. Hold on. On the travel log, a plane log, or whatever. You at work? Okay. Shout out to the working citizens. Hey, Wise Witty. And as I was listening to them call off the people's names who was on the plane log, I was thinking, well, why am I not hearing Trump? Why am I not hearing Diddy? Why am I not hearing Weinstein? You know, why am I not hearing the people's names who we already know that are part of that life? They're about that life. Then it started dawning on me that all of these people, Trump, Maxwell, Weinstein, Epstein, Diddy, were all tried in New York. And all, to some degree, were found guilty of something pertaining to that life. Not to the full extent of the racketeering and RICO. They all got some form of lesser charge or some type of deal or something. And then I started saying, if he is the president, before I say that, and it dawned on me, because what was happening is hello, Cynthia, I was trying to connect these dots as to Como Maureen being fired. And I knew that Miami was coming. Miami was coming. Yeah. And with Miami coming, it would have directly and indirectly hit these same people. So, even with the kids. So then I started saying, Now, I'm sure that Maureen knew this. She knew that it was going to be explosive, and that he was Mar-a-Lago. Epstein Island is close, but they had some Palm Springs. And Diddy, with the Hollywood people and the kids, the minors, when that girl said he had little people there, I said to myself, how was she gonna play that if there was strong possibility that Trump was gonna come up again and he the president? Who could they have ran that through? At this point, can you trust the FBI? Because you got old boy don't even want to come back to work. The Attorney General, she said there was a list and now there ain't no list. So then I'm starting to say, Trump on the list, yeah. How was that? So was this a move to shut Miami down as well? Because soon as anybody of my mega find out the plan, that's going to be a problem. Especially with all this evidence and shit coming out right now. So that's why I was up late. I said all that to say, y'all, I got 490 people in here. I need at least 80 likes real quick. It's almost 500 people in here. I know, baby. I know it makes sense. But let it make sense enough for you just to hit the like button. 520. I know you lying. I know you lying. Y'all need to tap this like button real quick, fast, in a hurry. Because I don't plan on being in here long. Please don't let me. This is my birthday in a couple of days. I don't want, thank you. Go on, drop. If you can't hit the like button, just go on, just step away. Put your church finger up since today is Sunday. And just go on, tiptoe out. Not today, yeah, I mean, really. Wasn't it getting good, Kane Life? Wasn't it kind of making a little bit of sense? Because who they going to run it through? Because right now he paranoid about everything. Hell, he was already telling them to flag the documents, the files, anything that came up with Trump or DOE174 or 147, whatever number his ass is. So if y'all can remember, I was saying in her exit, when she made contact to the people with the email, it was as if to me, she was saying, don't let the intimidation stop you. Y'all keep moving forward. Don't stop. Keep moving forward. Because I'm like, okay, so who gonna do that now? Who can you trust? You can't trust nobody that is already a part of this Epstein stuff. And was she getting too close? I think she was getting too close. Her daddy had intel. Hell, Maureen was going to have to revisit with Ghislaine Maxwell again, because that's who prosecutes. She was a part of that prosecution team. And so, as far as Biden, let me not, because I keep hearing people talking about what did Biden do? Biden administration, although I'm gonna let old boy read y'all with that, set that straight for y'all. But yeah, how is that gonna work? Because again, I'm gonna say it, I'm gonna keep saying it. Miami, Florida, Palm Springs, Mar-a-Lago, all of that. Star Island was left out of Diddy's most recent trial. And we know she was finna hit his ass again. That was clear. They needed to see how this process was going to go. Pretty much try to check their angle. And come a different way. Knowing good and dang well that it was going to be explosive, y'all. I need at least 50 more likes. Come on. It's going to be explosive. And if y'all would have been paying attention before all of this came out like this, and they was talking about pardoning Diddy, and I was saying, orange ball, you better leave that alone. You don't even want to touch that. You already got your own shit going on. I was trying to tell him it's gonna put eyes on you. Let Diddy ass go to prison. So as soon as you pardon him, your shit gonna fall out the closet. And before that even happened, his shit started falling out the closet. But Miami coming. Miami gotta come. And when Lil Rod case goes to trial, I'm sure after L.A. Reid, because his is August, Hollywood coming out. So Hollywood coming out. So Suge Knight was saying, man, just nip it. You can be the one to nip it. Because if you don't nip it and tell the truth, and it's going to include all of us anyway, and expose the head. That is what Suge Knight was saying. I ain't saying he didn't do it. I'm just saying he ain't the only one. And it did not start with him. True that. True that. True that. So, anyway. Y'all ain't gonna act right with the lights. Y'all ain't gonna act right. Ain't gonna act right. What am I doing over here? What's this over here? So listen, I'ma let Bart Simpson them saying he ain't gonna make it. And I ain't never listened to that Bart Simpson stuff. Never. They say his predictions be right. I don't know, but baby, even Bart Simpson little prediction stuff saying he out of here. He out of here and he out of here. But I was saying that, thinking about this stress. He can't handle the stress. He cannot handle being looked at as a failure. Now, we all know he a failure. But in his mind, as long as they was protecting him, he wasn't a failure. Woo! Can't lie. Thank you. You sent cheers. Cheers. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Ooh. You fell asleep last night. Oh, I was tired. I'm so sorry, Mark. But did it help? Oh, I hope I didn't start snoring. Don't even tell me. I don't want to know. If I did, I'm sorry. If I didn't, whew, I was tired. But it was so interesting to know. It was interesting to know. Thank you. It was interesting to know where she came from. And I'm talking about Ghislaine Maxwell. Baby. 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 She most definitely is a groomer. And she is most definitely, I believe, she is one of the ones who is really tormenting Trump with these every day something is dropping. She's most definitely playing chess. But I will say this, they are very similar. They are very similar. Mean, overly aggressive immigrant daddy. You know, I'm sure some of whatever she is, she got it from her daddy, just like Trump. Mama really didn't like her. She was her daddy's girl. Daddy was a con manipulator. Yeah, I fell asleep. I don't even remember. It was like I was tired, but I was torn. I was puzzled. It was bothering me, just trying to think, just how deep this is, and how the intelligence and the spies and the espionage and all of that type of stuff. And hey, Queen Puff, how you doing? It got real deep. Maxwell could be a secret, but they said that about Epstein. They said that about him. So we don't know. Hey. But anyway, let's move forward, because y'all not hitting the like button, and I ain't gonna be here all day. I got food to eat. I'm still set. Oh, I got to. I'm sorry. Kane Light saved the day. He saved y'all. I forgot. Kane Light said, do your thing, baby girl. Do your thing. Shout out to Kane Life. He said what it says, 500 gems.
Started at 100.
Shout out to you, 500 gems. Y'all see that? If you on your phone, device, I need for you to double tap my nose, go to my nose, get the lights up. It's a little gift box down there that when you first came on, it was spinning around. You can send Auntie some gems. You can send some gems, a super chat, super sticker. But I'm gonna let y'all hear this, cause this just popped. They are tagging his ass today. I just want us to be clear. He is being tagged. Come on, let me change my back of my screen. Let me see this picture. Let me see, is this cute? Oh, she kind of cute today. Hey, girl. But I need to change you too. I need to go to Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. He falling, AunTeaFee. I like it when he was up here and I can point to him. That's the picture I need. Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall. And for y'all who want to know what that picture looked like, that's what the picture looked like that he sent on that birthday card. And down there, yeah, is where he put his name. Yeah. Hold on. Let me move on past that. That's the birthday card. Yeah. Nasty ass. This is the picture I want. So I can point up at his ass. Yeah. They going in on him right there. He's saying, leave me alone. Hi, Ethelene. Leave me alone. Y'all are making me sick. And you've been making us sick. So now we even. Let's see what this is. It said they called old girl out. He gonna throw up on the bus. They say she don't even know she out of here. As soon as the smoke clear, he out.
Now is California Congressman Ted Lieu. He is a member of the House Judiciary and Foreign Affairs Committees, and it's always good to see you, my friend. So let's
Can y'all hear this?
Because we have 9
Dirty diaper
Republicans
truck.
who've joined Democrats to advance legislation requiring the DOJ to release more information on Epstein. Democrats on your Judiciary Committee,
where my little
hearing
thing?
with Attorney General Pam Bondi. Are there enough Republicans in GOP leadership or otherwise to make any of this happen? And what might that look like?
What might that look like?
Thank you, Alex, for your question. I want to remind the American people that in February of this year, the Attorney General of the United States, Pam Bondi, went on national TV and said that Jeffrey Epstein's client list was, quote, sitting on
Who
my
said
desk
it?
right now.
Let's go.
Where is that client list? Why won't she release it? This is a case of the highest levels of government protecting the rich and powerful. And the reason this story won't go away is because it's about a pedophilia ring. Women who were underage were raped and abused, and we now have wealthy people who are being protected. The Attorney General of the United States can release that list, and she needs to do it right now and not protect pedophiles. Also, House Republicans can issue a subpoena for that list, and they need to do that as soon as possible.
Look, we know a number of Republicans are vocal about wanting all Epstein material made public, but what are you hearing privately from your colleagues on the other side of the aisle?
A number of them, in fact, do want the Epstein files released, and the overwhelming majority of American people also want the Epstein files released that have not yet been released. There's already been some that have been released. There's a lot of information out there on the Epstein files. You've got multiple pictures and videos of Donald Trump. You have Donald Trump on plane logs with Jeffrey Epstein. You have really bizarre quotes from Trump about Epstein. And then most recently, the Wall Street Journal released this creepy letter that Donald Trump wrote about to Jeffrey Epstein on his birthday. So who knows what else is in the files that have not yet been released. And the House Republicans who control Congress could issue a subpoena right now for those files.
Let me just say about that letter, Donald Trump denies having written it, although the Wall Street Journal does stand by its reporting. But let's get to Senator Dick Durbin, who's calling for the DOJ's top leadership to respond to FBI whistleblower information that suggests agents were instructed to flag any records mentioning President Trump. What do you know about that?
I said repeatedly that Trump is all over the Epstein files, and now we know that the FBI is flagging all references to Trump in the Epstein file.
Flagging it. I ought to be able to come back and say, see, we told you that his name wasn't on nothing. It's just always deception. Always deception. And then you're up here talking about, you used to be my friend. Y'all used to protect me. Why y'all not doing it anymore? So y'all talking about combating and controlling this human trafficking, and he a part of it. But you want to deport working people. Hell, some of my plant-based, I'm up here trying to figure out why the shelves don't look right, why a lot of the stuff that I eat ain't been available, cause them people gone. You done deported. And some of them are U.S. citizens and don't have a background. And you are a convicted felon. 32, 33 times over. How dare you be such a hypocrite? And why did they feel like that was okay? That's the part I don't get. Why did you think that's okay? How can you really process that? Then you start talking about deporting U.S. citizens. And you not fully one. Why is that okay? How do you justify that? How does the party justify that? Why is that okay? How can you be okay with sending convicted felons to prison when you elected one? And for the people who voted for him, but have something to say about criminals. We don't want criminals over here. We don't want no, where's the list? Why he not on a list? Why is he not on the list, y'all? Why does he not have to register? That's mind-blowing to me. But let's finish hearing him. I like his demand. I just hope when it comes time to vote, you don't change your tune. Don't lie in our face. Right now ain't the time. We got a problem with human trafficking, and they were trafficking teenagers, and they called it a child, and they were starting. They say 13, but he told that Katie girl about another little girl that went missing, and she was 12, named Maria. They protecting a lot of people, but they wouldn't have had to protect him if they would have never allowed him to even run, let alone vote. And then you are admitting that it was rigged. And then Elon Musk is saying, "No, partner, you ain't gonna renege on our deal. We had a deal. Yeah, you in office because of me. Now I know you flipped the script on everybody that you have a deal with, but I'm gonna put your business out there. I'm gonna send a letter to GISLANE, and I'm gonna tell her what she needs to do, and she needs to start dropping that shit on you. I'm gonna put everybody in your business. We gonna show everybody that his daddy was right. He's a failure. He's a loser. That part. Yeah, let's go.
On the Epstein files, you've got multiple pictures and videos of Donald Trump. You have Donald Trump on plane logs with Jeffrey Epstein.
Yep.
You have really bizarre quotes from Trump about Epstein. And then most recently, the Wall Street Journal released this creepy letter that Donald Trump wrote to Jeffrey Epstein on his birthday. So who knows what else is in the files that have not yet been released. And the House Republicans who control Congress could issue a subpoena right now for those files.
Let me just say about that letter, Donald Trump denies having written it, although the Wall Street Journal does stand by its reporting. But let's get to Senator Dick Durbin, who's calling for the DOJ's top leadership to respond to FBI whistleblower information that suggests agents were instructed to flag any records mentioning President Trump. What do you know about that?
I said repeatedly that Trump is all over the Epstein files, and now we know that the FBI is flagging all references to Trump in the Epstein files. And if Trump wasn't in the Epstein files, why would the FBI be directed to flag those references?
Right.
But this is more than just about Donald Trump. Again, this is the highest levels of government protecting the rich and powerful. And what we need is for all the information to get out. We should not have the Attorney General of the United States protecting pedophiles.
All right, we're going to pivot to what's happening in your backyard, because Los Angeles is the epicenter of the administration's crackdowns on immigrants, with the effects of ICE raids felt citywide and beyond, certainly. People are afraid to go to work, sir, or they're afraid to go grocery shopping, attend church, walk outside. Recovery from the devastating January LA wildfires, that is stalled because immigrant construction workers, they're staying home. What are your LA constituents telling you about all this?
Well, first of all, the Department of Homeland Security is engaging in massive racial profiling. Under the law, the only way you can arrest someone is you have to have probable cause, and the only way you can detain someone is you have to have reasonable suspicion. You cannot use race or ethnicity as a basis for probable cause or reasonable suspicion, and yet that's what ICE and Border Patrol are doing. They are just going to parks in LA, going to Home Depots, and just rounding up brown people. That is flat out unconstitutional, and a federal judge has said so. So I want people to know that in many cases, ICE agents are acting illegally. You have the right to protest. You have the right to monitor their actions, to document, to film them in public. And I urge people to do so, because many times they're acting illegally. And
that's gonna make them beat you.
Afraid to go out and do their everyday work.
That's gonna make them hurt you. And that's the whole problem. You can't, if you're not a U.S. citizen, well, hell, some of them are citizens, and you start doing that, then they're going to detain you, beat you.
Under the law, the only way you can arrest someone is you have to have probable cause, and the only way you can detain someone is you have to have reasonable suspicion. You cannot use race or ethnicity as a basis for probable cause or reasonable suspicion, and yet that's what ICE and Border Patrol are doing. They are just going to parks in LA, going to Home Depots, and just rounding up brown people. That is flat out unconstitutional, and a federal judge has said so. So I want people to know that in many cases, ICE agents are acting illegally. You have the right to protest. You have the right to monitor their actions, to document, to film them in public. And I urge people to do so because many times they're acting illegally, and it's making Angelenos afraid to go out and do their everyday work.
And you're hearing that from your constituents?
Absolutely, and this is going to harm the economy. In fact, inflation already exceeded expectations last month, rising to 2.7%. Core CPI increased to 2.9%, even more. And when you have folks who are not going to work, that's going to drive up increased costs on all sorts of economic items, as we can't have produce being sent to people in America who need it. We have all sorts of folks who are no longer going to work, and that's going to harm the economy as well.
Let me ask you, as a veteran, your thoughts on the Army veteran arrested by ICE during that raid at the cannabis farm in Camarillo last week, George Bettis, who works as a security guard there. He was pepper sprayed, dragged out of his car, and pinned to the ground despite identifying himself with proof that he's a U.S. citizen, something that he carries on himself now. So during 3 days of detention, he was never told why he was arrested or why he couldn't contact a lawyer. He wasn't allowed to shower or change his clothes that were covered in tear gas and pepper spray. What is going on? Is there a legitimate explanation for this kind of treatment of a U.S. citizen?
Well, not only is ICE in some cases acting illegally by just targeting people who have a different skin color, they also end up targeting, or not targeting, but in fact arresting or detaining U.S. citizens. And that is a major problem, and the Department of Homeland Security still has not explained why in a number of cases they are arresting or detaining U.S. citizens, and that is also flat out illegal. And again, I urge people to document what they're seeing, to film in public what they're seeing. People have the right to protest, to speak out, and I just want people to understand in many cases what we're seeing is actions by the Department of Homeland Security that cannot be justified.
Sobering times. Congressman Ted Lieu, our friend, thank you very much.
Y'all, it's bad out there. Oh, here I come. 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 And you know what? You know, I hate to say this because, you know, you never know what a person's. Hold on.
The 5-day juice.
Trump changed the subject fast. Oh, yeah. Hold on, let me turn this around. Make sure y'all get that ID. That, you know, and I was very reluctant on getting it. But, you know, I for some reason, I kind of feel like they're going to try to, at some point, if they don't hurry up and get his ass up out of here, if you don't have a real ID, they're going to try to find a way to make that be an issue. It won't be just about travel. They'll be trying to say that you're not a citizen because you don't have a real ID. And when I tell you that was in itself was hell, it's like, what? I mean, So handle your business with that, because these people seem like they just want to have a reason. They not, I mean, how you arresting U.S. citizens? How you, who told you to do that? Why would you do that? Hold on, let's get to the next one. It's just crazy out here, y'all. It's very crazy. They need to hurry up and get his ass up out of here. Get him out. Let me go to what? This right here is over here. Let me see how am I gonna play this. That's over here. I loved it. I need 30 likes, y'all. Come on. I'm trying to see why I can't get this over here, but that's okay. Cut the volume up. Me and my 50 million devices. Lord. Come on, we're done. Dansky Pelosi. Why is it not playing? Okay, hold on. Here it is. Hold on.
Why do you think Biden? Bipartisan panel.
We ain't talking about no bipartisan. Hold on. I'm trying to get it to get bigger so y'all can see. But drag to the top. What? Turn it.
Why do you think Biden didn't do it for 4 years? Do you know why they didn't do it? Do you think they should have?
You know, prosecuted that should be.
Yeah, I was on a different device and I'm trying to bring it over
Do you
to.
think the Jeffrey Epstein files should be released? Congress needs to release them. Why do you think Biden didn't do it for 4 years?
Why you think Biden didn't do it? It's not.
Why they didn't do it? Do you think they should have?
I'm sure that the president is going to want to release whatever he can release.
Hold on,
I am
y'all.
concerned about the chain of
It's giving me a
custody.
hard time on this.
Madam
Right
Speaker,
here.
can I ask you real quick if you think the Jeffrey Epstein files should be released? Congress needs to release them. Why do you think Biden didn't do it for 4 years? Do you know why they didn't do it? Do you think they should have?
Well, this is what
I'm
happens
sure
when you're
that the
Donald
president is
Trump
going
and
to
you.
want to release whatever he can release. I am concerned about the chain of custody there. The Democrats have had control of these files. What have they added? What have they deleted? I don't know.
Can y'all hear?
I'm as curious as anybody else. I'll trust the Trump Justice Department to do what is right.
Exposed. Simply,
Madam Speaker, can I ask you real quick if you think the Jeffrey Epstein files should be released? Congress needs to release them. Why do you think Biden didn't do it for 4 years? Do you know why they didn't do it? Do you think they should have?
I'm sure that the president is going to want to release whatever he can release. I am concerned about the chain of custody there. The Democrats have had control of these files. What have they added? What have they deleted? I don't know. I have no idea. I'm as curious as anybody else.
Are y'all
I'll
able
trust
to
the Trump
hear?
Justice Department to do what is right.
but what I think is that, Pam Bondi made quite a show out of what she had, and we need a better explanation than what we've got.
Okay.
That if there's information in those files.
Let me see. I may be. Am I buffing y'all? Can y'all not hear? What? Oh, okay.
That shows this.
Madam Speaker, can I ask you real quick if you think the Jeffrey Epstein files should be released? Congress needs to release them. Why do you think Biden didn't do it for 4 years? Do you know why they didn't do it? Do you think they should have?
I'm sure that the president is going to want to release whatever he can release. I am concerned about the chain of custody there. The Democrats have had control of these files. What have they added? What have they deleted? I don't know. I have no idea. I'm as curious as anybody else. I'll trust the Trump Justice Department to do what is right.
But what I think is that, Pam Bondi made quite a show out of what she had, and we need a better explanation than what we've got. I think that if there's information in those files that shows that somebody committed a crime, that there's somebody that she has knowledge of that knowingly had sex with an underage girl, they need to be prosecuted. And I would hope that she would be doing that. And so whether you release the entire files, you can sometimes open a can of worms. If you were at an event, you don't know Jeffrey Epstein, but your name is on a list because you were in the gala that he was at, you could get attacked politically or otherwise, just guilt by association. And so do you need to release everything? I don't know, but anything that's criminal, I think needs to be exposed. And so whether it's a bipartisan panel that looks at it and says, okay, I don't see anything here that needs to necessarily be made public because it could disrupt people's lives unnecessarily, then, maybe not. But if there's criminal activity that's not being prosecuted that should be, then that's wrong.
A couple thoughts. Look, I'm all for transparency. I hope that very soon all those will be released. But what I think is really rich is this. Epstein dies in 2019. And the Biden administration does nothing for 4 years. Absolutely nothing. I didn't hear any Democrats call for it.
Bullshit.
And I never heard the legacy media on TV saying one thing about it either. And suddenly it's a code blue. Suddenly every Democrat and the legacy media wants to see these reports. I think that's hypocritical. But beyond that, there may be a lot more going on than meets the eye. Have tied up some of this stuff to protect the innocent, to protect the victims. Going cases, so that's tied up right now. And I just have a feeling something else is going on, and I don't know any more than your viewers do. But I think something else is going on that may be affecting national security. I think President Trump deserves a little bit of grace here.
No,
but hopefully at the end of the day, everything.
He ain't getting the victims no grace. Excuse me, whatever. You crazy. Okay, well let me tell you what. Let's cut this. Let's nip this before I get all off into something else, because I was about to go off into Jelaine Maxwell background. So before I do that, hold your mule, please. For the ones who was in my chat last night, want to bring up everybody except, just hold on. No, don't stop.
A terrifying surveillance video shows the moment a young woman narrowly escaped a kidnapping attempt in St. Augustine, Florida. She's now speaking out with
Oh, sorry. Let me get to it. Bear with me. Get my likes up, please. Where is it? Let me get to it.
Hyundai Santa.
That's not it. AunTeaFee, why you just didn't send it to yourself, girl? Which one is it? Is it this one?
I'm joined now by GOP Congressman Tim Burchett of Tennessee.
No,
House Republicans joining Democrats for a resolution to release all the government files on Jeffrey Epstein. While it's largely a symbolic gesture, it comes as President Trump has tried but mostly failed to dismiss his supporters' fervent interest in the case and what it represents. ABC senior White House correspondent Selena Wang has more.
Tonight, growing bipartisan pressure on the Trump administration to release all of the government's files on convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. A group of House Republicans joining Democrats pushing for a vote to compel
This is the part of what, hold on.
Carry no legal weight, but underscores the outrage some lawmakers are feeling from their own base. Epstein died by
House Republicans joining Democrats for a resolution to release all the government files on Jeffrey Epstein. While it's largely a symbolic gesture, it comes as President Trump has tried, but mostly failed to dismiss his supporters' fervent interest in the case and what it represents. ABC senior White House correspondent Selena Wang has more.
Tonight, growing bipartisan pressure on the Trump administration to release all of the government's files on convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. A group of House Republicans joining Democrats pushing for a vote to compel the release. The resolution would carry no legal weight, but underscores the outrage some lawmakers are feeling from their own base. Epstein died by suicide in jail in 2019, shortly after being charged with sex trafficking and sexual abuse of underage girls. Many of Trump's allies, including his FBI director Kash Patel and his deputy Dan Bongino, fueled Epstein conspiracies for years. Now many Republicans are demanding answers.
I don't think we're ever going to get to the bottom of anything. This town doesn't give up its secrets very easy.
Earlier this year, Attorney General Pam Bondi claimed to have Epstein's so-called client list. But then weeks ago, the Justice Department and FBI issued a memo stating the case is closed, that a systematic review revealed no incriminating client list and no credible evidence found that Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals. The backlash from some of Trump's base was intense. The president responded by lashing out at some of his own supporters.
They're stupid people. Was I a little ticked off he said that stuff? Sure I was.
Trump now ordering the Justice Department to request the release of grand jury transcripts related to Epstein. Some lawmakers say that doesn't go far enough.
To me, as a former prosecutor, there are times when you release things for the good of the country. This is one of those times.
Releasing grand jury records could take time, requiring a federal judge's approval. And legal experts say the transcripts may not reveal any new details and likely cover only a small fraction of the overall testimony and evidence gathered. Alan Dershowitz, Epstein's former lawyer, says Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's convicted co-conspirator, currently serving a 20-year prison sentence, should testify before Congress.
She is the Rosetta Stone. She knows everything.
And Lindsay, as Congress continues to grapple with the Epstein controversy, President Trump is now asking Senate Majority Leader John Thune to cancel the Senate summer recess to push through his nominees, including the highly controversial appointment of one of his former personal attorneys.
They need to get his ass out of here before that. Okay, let me get to the one that I was looking for. I got it now. Then I can entertain some of this other stuff. It's spinning. Come on.
Now, Democratic Congressman of Maryland, Jamie Raskin. He is the ranking member of the House Judiciary Committee. Congressman, thank you so much for joining us. You've been very vocal as well about the release of these files. You even sent a letter to House Judiciary Chair Jim Jordan asking him to hold a hearing on this and subpoena some of Trump's top officials if necessary. Have you gotten a response? Do you think the pressure is doing anything at this point?
Well, we've had no direct official response yet, but Chairman Jordan has said that Attorney General Bondi will be coming in. He's clearly feeling the heat, and so will Kash Patel. And he said before the end of the year, originally, I believe, or at least I was told that he said in another TV interview that it would be in September. So we are going to be in an August recess, and if Attorney General Bondi comes in early in September, even if he says, she will be available for questioning on other subjects, we'll take that. We need the opportunity for her to be directly questioned, and I hope that she will arrive with the transmission of all of the files in the Epstein case, exactly what she promised, including the client list, which she said was sitting on her desk.
Congressman, I'm curious if you've had conversations with Senator Ron Wyden as well. He spent the last 3 years digging into the financial network here, found that 4 banks waited until his arrest to flag $1.5 billion in suspicious transactions. He wants all that made public as well. What do you think we could learn by following the money trail?
Well, we could learn a lot. Obviously, it was extremely expensive to be running this nationwide, perhaps international human trafficking and sexual abuse ring and scheme and follow the money. And so I'm glad that Senator Wyden has been working on that for the last several years. I've not seen any of those SARS reports, but the country is familiar with SARS reports because it's exactly what we learned about and we got to see in the Hunter Biden investigation, and obviously with much smaller stakes than what we're talking about now.
Congressman, what do you make of Congressman Massey and Congressman Ro Khanna's legislation to try and get documents revealed? Do you think there's any chance it could potentially be successful if all the Democrats, with a handful of Republicans who are in this moment willing to kind of defy Donald Trump and actually push through to try and get something out?
Oh, we're headed for a huge success on this one because all of the Democrats are determined to see that all of the files are released. At least 8 or 9 Republicans are joining Congressman Massey and Congressman Khanna's resolution along with all the Democrats. So the leadership, Speaker Johnson obviously doesn't want this to go forward because they're still trying to help Donald Trump keep the lid on things. But the discharge resolution is an opportunity to dislodge and discharge a resolution which the majority is sitting on. And so as soon as it becomes ripe next week, and I believe that will be Wednesday, then if we all go and sign our names to it, it will be forced out of its hold and onto the floor of the House of Representatives. Some people are saying that Speaker Johnson, at Trump's behest, will just send us home and start the August recess several days early rather than have us vote on that. But there's a strong bipartisan consensus, I think, to move forward and to get to the bottom of this. We've had enough cover-ups in this thing.
Congressman James Carville, the Democratic strategist, earlier this year had made an argument that Democrats should just play possum, essentially, and let MAGA and Republicans in general sort of tear themselves apart. Is there an argument, do you think, for doing that here in this circumstance, that basically Trump can say, oh, this is a Democratic-led effort to crucify him, et cetera, and that potentially Democrats putting pressure on this issue when Republicans are already so divided on it might give Trump a scapegoat, essentially?
About 22 days ago, I started using the Japanese pink salt recipe, but I had to stop because I was losing weight way too fast. Just look.
So divided on it might give Trump a scapegoat, essentially.
I mean, that's a point about political gamesmanship and not about criminal justice and the rule of law. And all of the Democrats, and I think a lot of the Republicans, are serious about ending human trafficking and the sexual abuse of minors, whether it's in a church, a school, a university like Michigan State or Ohio State. And we take this very seriously. So we obviously cannot allow this kind of activity to be going on at the highest levels. And of course, it is Donald Trump, Pam Bondi, and team which put this on the national radar. And it is Donald Trump who's been insisting there's a much broader conspiracy. And if there is, whether it's in a church, a school, a university like Michigan State or Ohio State, and we take this very seriously. So we obviously cannot allow this kind of activity to be going on at the highest levels. And of course, it is Donald Trump, Pam Bondi, and team which put this on the national radar. And it is Donald Trump who's been insisting there's a much broader conspiracy. And if there is, let's get it out there. Then there should be nothing to hide. Obviously, we want to redact the names of the victims in these cases. There were hundreds of victims in just what was taking place with Epstein and Maxwell. alone, but conceivably more than 1,000 victims. So we want to protect them, but we also want to protect them against predators that are still out there. And we reject the idea that because it's allegedly the rich and powerful who are on the list on Pam Bondi's desk or who've been named in these various investigations, that we should trust them just to reform their own ways. If there are predators out there, then we need to know about it.
But you had several years before Trump came back into office to demand these files be released, and you didn't.
Okay, here we go. Now this right here, this right here is for all the people who was in my comment section, who be asking, what about this, what about that, what about this, what about that, what about Biden, what about Biden. So I think instead of me trying to explain, y'all please get the likes up, he is going to serve it well, because it's as if they forget. It's like, how y'all so smart? Y'all act like y'all forgot that y'all started this. Excuse me, Biden didn't. His administration didn't. He didn't campaign on this. Y'all did. Right? So why do y'all keep bringing up Biden? It's just like that's y'all blame for everything. That's why Trump lying and saying Obama and them came up with the list, and he know good and damn well he lying, because he the one that started this push. But let's listen with our good ear. Can we listen with our good ear? Let's go.
I mean, I'm very sympathetic to all of those objectives that you just mentioned.
Are you?
So we want to protect them, but we also want to protect.
I didn't like when she said that.
Predators that are still out there. And we reject the idea that because it's allegedly the rich and powerful who are on the list on Pam Bondi's desk or who've been named in these various investigations, that we should trust them just to reform their own ways. If there are predators out there, then we need to know about it.
But you had several years before Trump came back into office to demand these files be released, and you didn't. I mean, I'm very sympathetic to all of those objectives that you just mentioned, protecting those who are victims of potential sex trafficking.
Well, I know that's the big.
Go on.
Right, I hear you. Like, that's the big Republican talking point. Why didn't the Democrats do anything during the Biden administration? It would, first of all, we don't view it as the Biden administration under the Department of Justice or the Trump administration. At least in the old days, we just thought it was the Department of Justice. But in any event, if we're going to view it through that partisan lens, it was under the Biden Department of Justice that Maxwell was successfully prosecuted and sentenced to 20 years in jail. It was after that Donald Trump.
On who administration? On who administration? I'm going to back it up again, because they act like they keep forgetting. Under who administration? Got a conviction. Not a plea deal, but a whole conviction with 20 years. Let's go.
Democrats do anything during the Biden administration, it would, first of all, we don't view it as the Biden administration under the Department of Justice or the Trump administration. At least in the old days, we just thought it was the Department of Justice. But in any event, if we're going to view it through that partisan lens, it was under the Biden Department of Justice that Maxwell was successfully prosecuted and sentenced to 20 years in jail. It was after that that Donald Trump began the drumbeat for releasing the files in the course of the presidential campaign. And because he was Epstein's best friend for more than a decade and is named in lots of different contexts related to these events, we're trusting him now that he knows something was going on. He doesn't want to talk about it anymore. But he made it the centerpiece of his campaign. He wasn't promising to throw 17 million people off Medicaid, but he was promising to release the Epstein files. And we say, great, we have nothing to be afraid of. If you want to view it in partisan terms, I've not had a single Democrat say, no, don't release that. My name.
You've not heard one Democrat say, don't release it. My name may be on there. Flag it. Anytime you see my name, not one.
The centerpiece of his campaign. He wasn't promising to throw 17 million people off Medicaid, but he was promising to release the Epstein files. And we say, great, we have nothing to be afraid of. If you want to view it in partisan terms, I've not had a single Democrat say, no, don't release that. My name's going to be in there. We've not heard that from anybody. So if the Republicans saying that, that's their problem. We have no problem for transparency. And the other stuff is just political noise and a distraction from whether or not we are going to keep to the promise that they made to the American people.
Hello.
If you want to drop your auto insurance rate, then don't skip this video.
How about that?
Take a look. I've removed my personal info, guys, from
whether or not we are going to keep to the promise that they made to the American people.
You're also an attorney. Can we get your thoughts on
how about that, y'all?
Defamation suit filed in Florida?
Was that clear enough for everybody? Did that nip it in the bud? Huh? Did they nip it in the bud? So every time they bring up Biden administration, why they didn't do nothing with it? They prosecute. They got a whole 20 years. They done did better than what? It didn't get not guilty. She got guilty. She's sitting in prison right now. No plea deal, no special prosecution, not being able to be prosecuted. So that should nip that in the butt. Okay. Shut that ass down.
Is going to be in there. We've not heard that from anybody. So if the Republicans saying that, that's their problem. We have no problem for transparency. And the other stuff is just political noise and a distraction from whether or not we are going to.
Sometimes it's real good to not be a part of the in-crowd.
You're also an attorney. Can we get your thoughts on Trump's new defamation suit filed in Florida, seeking $10 billion in damages, going after the Wall Street Journal, then the reporters who reported out this new element here, this alleged birthday card that kind of adds a new dimension to their potential friendship and relationship here. What do you make of this lawsuit, whether Trump has a case here or not? And if he doesn't, what do you think this lawsuit is actually about?
Well, Donald Trump is famously litigious. He's brought more than 3,000 lawsuits in his life, and he feels that, because he's got an army of lawyers and deep pockets, he can intimidate anybody by just suing them. He tried to do it to Harvard University and other colleges. That's failed. He's tried to do it to a bunch of law firms like Perkins Coie and WilmerHale. That's failed in those cases. And so obviously the Wall Street Journal is not afraid. The standard that Donald Trump has to meet is he's got to prove falsity, that this was actually not written by him, and they had knowledge of the falsity, or at least were recklessly indifferent as to the veracity of the allegations. And the Wall Street Journal is standing up strong and tall on this, saying, no way, we're completely behind our story. So if Donald Trump wants to go through the discovery process, and if he wants to be deposed about his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, maybe he gets somebody on his staff to write the birthday letters and so on. Did he ever try to revoke it before or dissociate himself from it before? I mean, after all of the photographs we've seen of them together, and all the videotape and all the evidence we have of their relationship, I think people are going to be suspicious of the idea that somehow somebody completely concocted a birthday message for his 50th birthday, put it in Donald Trump's name. Trump never said anything about it, never tried to distance himself from it, but now suddenly is saying it's not him. But, you also wonder, well, why is this big enough for him to even bring a lawsuit against the Wall Street Journal when there are far more damning things that are being said? Like Michael Wolff was just on Sidney Blumenthal's podcast the other day and said he saw photographs shown to him by Epstein of Donald Trump with topless teenage girls that were held in a safe and were put back in the safe, and Wolff assumes that the FBI's got those. Why isn't he suing playing wolf. He's picked these very kind of mild
Very
allegations coming from the Wall Street Journal in order to change people's focus and to make it Donald Trump versus the big bad news media, which obviously he's systematically trying to put out of business right now. So I don't think anybody should be too long detained with this. If he wants to sue them, fine. But the point is, Donald Trump still has access, he and the Attorney General have access to all these files, and they should go ahead and be released if there's nothing there. And this is the promise he's made to the American people.
Yeah.
Congressman Jamie Raskin, thank you as always for your insights.
They prosecuted.
Joining me now, Timothy Hayfie, former federal prosecutor and former lead investigator to the House January 6th committee, Miles Taylor, former Homeland Security official in the Trump administration, and Adam Wren, national political correspondent for Politico. Adam has interviewed far-right activist Laura Loomer, who says the Epstein matter could consume the Trump presidency. We're getting into that, and I thank you guys for all being here. So, Tim, Trump is trying this multi-pronged effort to quell, if he can, the MAGA outrage. But he admits the Epstein grand jury transcripts will not give the base what it wants. And at the same time, his lawsuit against the Wall Street Journal, that could just bring details of his relationship with Epstein out front and center. And you heard us play what Alan Dershowitz said. Do you envision a scenario where Ghislaine Maxwell is given use immunity to testify in Congress?
Yeah, Alex, impossible to tell what this Justice Department or this White House will do with respect to this story. To me, this reveals the stark difference between the standards by which politicians make statements versus the standards by which lawyers do. There has been talk for years about some conspiracy, some sex trafficking cabal. Prosecutors in the Department of Justice can only talk about facts and evidence. So to the extent there's a desire by the president or others to compare what politicians have said to the facts and the evidence, complete transparency and revelation will be important. But whether or not they do or don't, look, I would be not speaking as a lawyer, trafficking in facts, able to give you any prediction about where this is going.
But I'm curious, just gut reaction here, given the fact that you worked on the January 6th hearings, would that hearing potentially be a bigger spectacle?
If Ghislaine Maxwell were to be given use immunity, well, it depends on the facts, Alex. Again, there is a lot of chatter by politicians and others about some larger pattern of nefarious activity. And I don't know what the facts are. This could have been a sexual predator who is luring young women for his own sexual gratification and that of others. Does that meet the standard of this deep state conspiracy that we've been hearing about for years from some folks on the right? Maybe the attention paid to Ghislaine Maxwell would be tremendous, but I'm not sure what the facts are, right? And the facts govern, not political rhetoric. So we'll see what the facts are, maybe, because again, prosecutors in the Department of Justice and grand juries and judges evaluating the release are evaluating facts, not supposition.
So, Miles, Senator Dick Durbin says FBI personnel were told to flag anything in the Epstein files mentioning Trump, and he's asking Kash Patel about reports that he was pressured by Bondi to put 1,000 personnel on 24-hour shifts to mine roughly 100,000 Epstein records. What does this suggest to you?
This is huge, Alex. I mean, this data point to me reeks of a cover-up. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that the president was engaged in any criminal activity, but it seems reasonable to think that if this is indeed true, that there was something found in the course of the investigation or the files that the president didn't want to make public. Again, it doesn't have to be criminal. It could just be embarrassing. I mean, the birthday letter reported by the Wall Street Journal from Donald Trump to Jeffrey Epstein, that alleged birthday letter is itself very embarrassing, but not necessarily criminal. And so, the keyword searches looking for Trump's name, I think strongly suggests that somewhere something could have been found that has affected his behavior in this case. Now,
if you want to know where this is going, Alex, I would say we have a pretty good comparison, which is go back to the first Trump administration and look what the Russia investigation did to the president's psyche. I saw it up close while he was president, how it affected him. Now, the good news is that I think the Epstein case will distract Donald Trump from some of the more egregious policies he embarrassing, but not necessarily criminal. And so, the keyword searches looking for Trump's name, I think strongly suggests that somewhere something could have been found that has affected his behavior in this case. Now, if you want to know where this is going, Alex, I would say we have a pretty good comparison, which is go back to the first Trump administration and look what the Russia investigation did to the president's psyche. I saw it up close while he was president, how it affected him. Now, the good news is that I think the Epstein case will distract Donald Trump from some of the more egregious policies he was pursuing. Right. The bad news is it's going to make Donald Trump desperate to create other distractions because he doesn't want people to focus on this. And one of those immediate distractions has been continuing his war on the free press with this suit against the Wall Street Journal. And I think that we're going to see that crackdown extend further as the president gets angrier at the news media for covering this story.
So your suggestion, based on what you witnessed there, is that the president, he's just going to start flailing, putting anything out there for distraction.
Anything. I'll give you an example of it, Alex. I mean, I can remember that we had, during the first Trump administration, we pushed for the largest reorganization of the Department of Homeland Security since its creation. And we were in the Oval Office, supposed to talk about cybersecurity and protecting the country against weapons of mass destruction. The president was signing bills to that effect into law. And instead, he ushers the press in. And what does he talk about? He talks about the witch hunt that he called it, the Russia investigation. This is the new witch hunt. When the president is supposed to be focused on national security and protecting the American people, he's going to be obsessing about the Epstein investigation and obsessing about getting revenge against the people who've shown a light on his involvement.
I'm just going to mind this one more second with you. Just your observation, when he's doing that, does he know what he's doing? Is it intentional? Or is it just as if he's just speaking anything that comes to mind?
Both. Well, I wouldn't give Donald Trump too much credit for being terribly strategic when it comes to these things. I think he's a lot blunter. He deploys these weapons of mass distraction because he knows that people will chase the next shiny object. And so
Maxwell
WMDs are going to be on his mind. That may be good for Donald Trump trying to shift the narrative around, but that's bad for the American people because he's playing a dangerous game with the federal government to try to create those distractions.
While sitting in the Oval Office. Okay, so Adam, I'm curious your sense on how this is hitting Trump supporters and the MAGA world, and how would they feel about this idea to give Ghislaine Maxwell immunity to testify before Congress?
Well, when I spoke to Laura Loomer a number of times this past week, she was adamant that this is essentially, threatening to consume his presidency. And we're already seeing some of the infrastructure in terms of events looming in the future taking place where that will happen. We have the discharge petition in the House where it's possible that in a symbolic gesture, the House could vote to have all of the Epstein files released. And so that is looming out past August already. That takes us another 2 weeks deeper into this. And so, and essentially you also have the Wall Street Journal suit happening, which promises to make this continue being a story. And so her contention is that this is, as Miles said, very similar to Russiagate in the fact that it's going to take weeks and months of his presidency. And I think his supporters would be happy to see Ghislaine Maxwell testify on this and let the chips fall where they may.
Look, Loomer goes through the conspiracy rabbit hole, as you know, or down it, I should say. She makes all sorts of anti-immigrant and racist posts. She essentially broke that story about Dan Bongino threatening to quit over all this, called for Trump to appoint a special counsel. But what specifically is she interested in seeing from these files?
She wants to see, one of the key things that Trump rode to office was the sense that elites were getting a different justice system than the rest of America. And she wants Trump to end that. And the problem is that he is potentially implicated in all of this, given the reporting that Politico hasn't matched, by the way, from the Wall Street Journal. And so, this is something that she wants to see rooted out. And what's not clear to me is how she squares the idea of an independent prosecutor, which she has called for and which others like Steve Bannon have called for a number of times, and to the fact that if Trump were to appoint, which he said he's not going to do, that would essentially admit that he has some sort of bias in this case. And so, I think her motive here is to see the elite face the same justice system that the rest of America does.
Adam, she has kind of a shadowy reputation. She's a shadowy figure. I'm curious what it is and how she's able to maintain such close ties within the White House and directly to the president.
Well, President Donald Trump himself has praised her courage. She doesn't seem to have any sort of outside influences beyond her ideological project guiding her, and he likes that. He's impressed by it. We've seen that, and of course, she's built a relationship with Vice President J.D. Vance, visiting him last month, according to some reporting, at the Executive Office building. And so, she is close to the White House, despite some White House aides' apprehension about her presence in the Trump administration. Many of them don't like it, but Trump listens to her, and he sees a fearless operator and thinks that's quite something.
So, Tim, you have Senator Ron Wyden, who wants Epstein's banking records made public. Let's play some of this.
Yeah, he making billions of dollars, y'all.
Epstein's banking records made public. Let's play some of this.
Somewhere in the Treasury Department, Mr. President, locked away in a cabinet drawer, is a big Epstein file that's full of actionable information. Follow the money details. 4,725 wire transfers, adding up to nearly $1.1 billion flowing in and out
currently
of just one of Mr. Epstein's bank accounts.
So, Tim, have investigators already gone through Epstein's banking records? And can those be complicated somewhat by the fact Epstein was also a money manager for wealthy people?
Yes, absolutely, Alex. It's unclear how much of that information, assuming that it exists, has already been reviewed or has it somehow been suppressed. And this complicates the public desire for transparency, because if there's an ongoing investigation, then it is problematic to release grand jury testimony or to call a witness to a public congressional hearing with use immunity. I don't know if there's any active investigation involving these wire transfers or anything else related to Jeffrey Epstein. If there's not, then there's a very strong public interest in transparency and release. If the material Senator Wyden is talking about has been reviewed and has not resulted in any criminal charges, then again, it's all part of the public interest in transparency. Facts matter. Let's see what the facts are and dispel this notion of whether or not there was or wasn't some deep state cabal. But if that stuff is new and it hasn't been reviewed, then it makes it a lot harder to release it.
So who is managing an account of a dead man? Does he have an estate? So are the victims getting paid? Does he have an active estate? Because if he's still making millions, then that means that victims can still get paid, right? Right? Well, the only reason, if nobody's going to testify, nobody's going to snitch without a deal. She been sitting in there all this time and ain't said nothing. What would prompt her to testify if she don't get a deal? I wouldn't talk without a deal. You need me, I don't need you. So you gotta offer me something. What we gonna offer? What we gonna offer her? What? Oh, y'all can sit on, I can sit on my facts, my knowledge, my receipts, and y'all can continue to play with Donald Trump and knowing he a predator, know he on these lists. And so why should I not get a deal and y'all done made him a president? Yeah, but you got a president that right now is negotiating deals, sending people out the country, taking away from the elderly, and he's one too. So that means that we making excuses for him and just only punishing her, because that's kind of how it was with Epstein. He had special, what's his name, Alex Acosta. He had a non-prosecution agreement on the cool that a lot of us didn't know nothing about until all of this happened and facts started falling. Criminal cases started falling. We would have never known that. So he wasn't even, he had a Diddy deal. I know, but I think that if we can get some predators off the streets, out of office, expose the lies and the deceit, because if not, let's be clear, he's going to continue. So give her a deal. Give her a deal. Send her ass back to her country, her daddy's country. Deport her. But you got to tell the truth, and you got to tell on everybody. And I believe at this time, at this point in her life, she will. She is clever enough, as we watched late in the midnight hour last night or this morning. She's very clever. She's very clever. And her dad, you know, from allegedly, what they were saying is that she comes from spies. And yeah. Yeah, they play with foreign countries, Israel, all that type of stuff. Everything that we've heard about, which made perfect sense as to why she was with Epstein. But during the documentary, it said that her dad raised all of them to be crooks. But he liked her intellect better than he liked his boys or everybody else. So typically, I wouldn't be up for a deal, but she's needed. She's needed to bring him down, because we wouldn't have known nothing about that card had she not allowed it to be leaked. And I'm sure Donald Trump knows that however she got that to the Wall Street Journal, more is coming. Mm-hmm. You have given me another angle to look through. Change my, yeah. He was unalived on a boat in the middle of the sea. Very suspicious. Yeah. I think that when you that evil, that you, I don't put nothing past none of them. I don't put nothing past you sacrificing somebody. I don't put it past your daddy have been fooling with you. I don't put it past that, because the mama said she was the only one that was spoiled. None of her other kids were spoiled, but she was the daddy's pet. I don't put nothing past that. I don't put nothing past I don't put nothing past her claim of wealth was to remove her dad, or he may have just, hell, he may still be alive. I don't know. I don't put nothing past none of. At this point in time in my life, I don't put it past Epstein still be alive. I don't put it past what's the girl who got hit by a truck, a van, or a bus right before she allegedly kind of took herself out, but she left a message that if something happened to her, that that means that they got her. Yeah, you done got hit by a whole bus or something big that she wasn't supposed to live through it. So I know she was feeling like I know too much, and they are trying to, yeah. So I would not be surprised if the government has moved them. So I just wouldn't be surprised with none of them. I need to see the body. I need to. I just right now it's just so much. It's so deep. I don't put nothing past none of it. And some of these people are real life spies, and it's just deep. It's just real deep. But I know they got to get. I would rather them give her cut some of her time off to get Donald Trump, cause he's evil. I mean, she's evil too. She was evil. Very calculated. But I keep hearing that Victoria girls saying that GISLANE was worse than Epstein. She said that you wouldn't think that because she was a female, but she was worse than Epstein. So when I was listening last night, it was almost making me believe that, hell, she swooned him. She put him in deeper than what he was already. That's kind of how I felt, even seeing the body done. I know, Joy of Jesse. I know. She said, we need DNA. I know, because it's like, even if I see blood, I don't trust none of this now. It's just way too deep. And to know that they have this whole underground child human trafficking that has a whole membership of the elites. $100,000 a year to be a part of this net. I don't want to say network. What do they call it? Ponzi. They done built a whole luxury. It looked like a whole luxury resort that they pay $100,000 a year to be a member. And then you still paying for whichever chosen minor. When we watched that, y'all, that was so eye-opening for me. It's just my mind didn't go there. My mind wouldn't process that imagination. It just would not. It just would not. And to see how he was negotiating, stalling for the raid, but I just could not imagine that. I would have never known. I would have never even thought that it went like that. So every last one of these socialites who are part of this membership, you think they going to the Ritz-Carlton black card elite golfing whatever, and in each one of them rooms it's a minor. A minor. A minor. And in order for these perverts to think that they are getting a little girl with what they call it, no kilometers, even though she's been tampered with, they will have them perform a surgery on her to reattach. It's a sick world. So yeah, I will probably be okay with them giving her some time off to expose all of it. But I mean, she would have to expose all of it. Every bit of it. And I wouldn't give a dang. You know I want to say damn, right? Who name on there? I don't care. I don't care. I don't care who it exposed. It can be the preacher. It could be, I don't care. Hell, we already know the president, allegedly. So, I don't care. I don't care who it is. All of them need to be exposed. Diddy, he in there. But that's why I'm already feeling like I'm gonna have to go. Feeling like Comey was getting too close and too deep with her future prosecution. And when Trump made up that there is no more prosecution, there is no list, there was no da-da-da-da-da, and Ghislaine came out saying, well then you need to pardon me, you need to let me free. And then all of a sudden the DOJ said, oh, freeze, do not appeal, do not accept nothing. He just talking. He's just talking. What Comey did, she did her job up under the Biden administration. She got her just, she went through the proper process. She was found guilty. So do not grant nothing. Yeah, because he tripping and don't want to be exposed. So is it nothing? Is it nothing to see? It was all a hoax. It was all a dream, Biggie. I mean, right, because if it is, then she's saying, let me be. Free me. And now y'all saying, well, no. Hold up. So this is what happens when you play in people's face and they call your bluff. So you want to release the list? Yeah. And these people still killing me saying ain't no list. Well, why did they say it was one? How is he numbered? Okay, y'all, what time is it? I can't even see the time. What time is it? 8 something. I need to hang up this one. I may be back later, y'all. It is, Janet, she popped out. She said it is a list. And they need to stop trying to play in our face at 9:30. Okay, yeah, I gotta go, y'all. I was up too late last night, and I gotta do a little something on my other page. So if y'all really want to catch me on the other end, go and join the other page. It's linked up at the top where that white is at. Go hit that one, and I'll be over there a little later on, and I'll fall asleep with y'all like I did. Mark, he said I fell asleep. I was out. I'm sure I was out, baby. We gotta stay on top. 9:33 Eastern time. Okay, yeah, I gotta go. I'm tired. I just ate while they was talking. So we clear what Biden did regarding Epstein. He prosecuted her under his watch and got her 20 years. He did his job. He did his part. Know what y'all gonna do. Peace, y'all. Bye.